Everything you're going to hear is being created from the violin. And it's very much about a journey.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this very special episode of the Now What podcast. My name is Scott Love. I'm your host, and normally we have Gail with us today to talk about things that are happening in the community and to share some love and light with people who are listening. But today we have a special guest. Actually, we have two special guests. One of them is someone you may be familiar with. We have Tammy, and today we're joined with Dixon of Dixon's Violin. Welcome, guys. Thank you for coming here.
Yay. Happy to be here.
Yes.
Very good.
So happy.
How's your morning?
So good.
So good.
I've got my second cup of coffee here, so I'm in a good place.
Hold on. All right.
Yeah,
cheers,
bye.
everybody.
All of us. Yay.
Cheers.
Cheers. Awesome.
If you're listening, cheers. Good morning, even if it's 5 in the afternoon.
Coffee is good.
Very good. All right, so we have a show coming up in Bay City. Tammy, you want to tell us a little bit about the dates and the location?
Sure. The show is on Saturday, June 6th, and it will be at the State Theater in Bay City. It's a historic theater in downtown Bay City. The show is at 7 o'clock p.m., and we're very, very, very excited about it. Yeah.
I would, even though the show at 7, I would suggest people get there about 6:30 because I imagine it's going to be a packed house. And since it's not assigned seating, it's like get in where you fit in.
Right. The doors open at 6 p.m. actually, and there's going to be a table in the lobby with different cool things. So, yeah, come early.
Yep. It's a beautiful building, too. It's a very nice theater.
Yeah.
Have you played there before?
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
It's lovely. Yeah, I love historic buildings. I'm so blessed I get to play in a wide variety of places, and they're not always this pretty.
Do you remember where was your first show? First as Dixon's Violin, your first show.
You know, and we'll get probably more into this, but I started playing classical music as a hobby, sideline thing. Then I had a tech career. Then I had a life change. Then I started to improvise and sit in with bands. So I was in Lansing, Michigan at the time, and I was just like a sponge. Like I wanted to learn from other musicians that were doing not classical music. And so I was sitting with jazz bands and rock bands and blues bands and
Nice.
anybody and just kind of jamming out and learning through trial and error how to be different and kind of break out of the mold. And so at first it was, my gigs were in little bars, frankly, around Lansing, with these rock bands, blues bands, whoever. And then I occasionally, when I started to find my sound and my style and my process, what I would do is slip in a song of my own. And hey guys, and they wanted a break, right? We've been playing for 3 hours, right? So they'd be like, hey Dixon, can you do a solo for like 5 minutes? I'm like, heck yeah, I got this idea. And so I would do a solo thing, and it really blew me away how just by myself I could inspire people and move people, and sometimes have people in tears. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I would do that more and more, and then finally I did solo, like I'm doing the whole show, just me. And it was somewhere in Lansing. I can't even remember where the first one was, and probably a little bar or maybe a little art gallery or something.
Nice.
And I was terrified. Never tried to like hold an audience for an hour or two by myself. And it's practice. The violin is a great metaphor for practice. It's awful at first, right? The violin is a horrible instrument. Oh man, it sounds like you're killing a cat for like 2 years. It's awful. And I always tell people, I'm like, people give up too soon.
Yeah.
You tried it for a year and it still sounds bad. It's supposed to. You're just warming up. Like, keep going, right? And it's the same thing with doing gigs. Like, at first, it was awkward, and I did many errors and like screwed up this way, screwed up this way, screwed up this way. But I loved it, and I knew like my soul was connecting to this. I'm like, I need to do this. This is important. Like, because there'd be these magic moments where I would really deeply inspire people, and I'm like, I have to keep going. So I just persevered through the awkward stuff, and finally got to where I'm like, yeah, okay, I kind of know what I'm doing.
Nice.
And the funny thing from the universe is now I've done almost 1,500 gigs now.
Wow.
Solo, and I'm still learning. There's still moments where I fall on my face. I'm like, what were you thinking? Okay, well, we learned. So, the trend is up. The trend is up, but it's like the stock market. There's some dips for sure, and so that's kind of how it. That's the short version of how my first gig happened.
That's very cool. Very cool. That's exciting, man. I've never performed live in front of people, but lately I've been doing this open mic, and I get as if I'm about to play Carnegie Hall or something every time. It's like, so I can't even imagine 1,500 shows. That's crazy. That's awesome.
I love open mics, by the way, and good for you. That was something I did for a little bit when I was first getting into the weird stuff that I do, and
weird stuff,
right?
Yeah.
And they're so welcoming, and they're so respectful. At least the ones that I've been at. I can't speak for all of them, but generally speaking, they are a wonderful, supportive environment where it doesn't matter if you're just starting out. It doesn't matter if you're like, out of tune, missing notes, whatever. Generally people are like, keep going, you're doing great, like you got it. And that was really important for me because I had such fear of making mistakes.
Yes.
Right? I say this all the time where like in the classical world where I came from, you're supposed to be perfect.
Yes.
Right? There's supposed to be zero mistakes. You're supposed to be perfect. And now I know nobody's perfect.
Nobody's perfect.
I'm going to make mistakes. Just I will make 17 mistakes today. I've already made 12. Right? So, but I'm being more gentle on myself. And open mics are a great way to like feel safe to open up. Right? Because it is terrifying. Like you said, even at an open mic, it feels like you're at Carnegie Hall. Because you're so vulnerable, you're so exposed, like you're pouring your heart out, and you might be kind of new at your instrument or your voice, right? So that's a very difficult thing to open up and kind of intellectually know it might not be great, right? But your heart's there. And what's great, I found, is that as long as your heart's there and you put it out there, people will respond positively to it. Like, even if you're out of tune. Even if you miss a note or whatever, like if you're really putting it out there, so yeah, it's nerve-wracking. The good news I've experienced is that nervousness changes, because at first, the first couple hundred couple hundred performances I did, I was very worried about things going wrong, right? The mind is, the inner critic would,
Yeah.
and that still happens, right? But it's shifted in that I was worried about stuff going, oh, what if I screw up? What if there's a problem? What if this? What if? All these what ifs. And now it's shifted because I've done so many gigs that I now know those things will happen.
Right.
Absolutely they will. And I'll be okay. I'll be okay. I've had, I'm not just talking about missed notes, out of tune, like awkward music. That's like level one. No, I've had like power outages. I did an outdoor show and there was an audience sitting in the grass and the sprinkler system turned on
Oh,
accidentally
geez.
in the middle of the show, right? We've had tornadoes. There's been some serious problems.
Holy smokes.
And it's still okay. I
Yeah.
will be fine. I will wake up tomorrow, right?
Ah.
So I'm not worried really about stuff going wrong because it will and I'll be
Right.
fine. Now it's not so much a worry. It's this hope and this like what I want is it to be magic. I want it to be magic. So there's plenty of times where it just, for some reason you just don't connect with the audience or something's just a little off or I don't know. People are distracted. That happens. But then occasionally, and then most of the time it's good. Like people really are like, wow, but then occasionally it's magic. Occasionally it's like the clouds parted, the sunbeam comes through, the angels
Everything
are
got it lined
singing,
up.
right? And then people are just sobbing, right? And that's an occasional, you can't plan for that, but I want that. And so it's not so much I'm worried about things going wrong, it's that I really want the magic. And I can't guarantee it, but what I can do is I can remove as many obstacles as possible because you can prevent it, right? You're not going to get the angels singing if you really screw something up, right? So if I plugged in the cable in the wrong spot, right? If I forgot about the lighting, that there's that, you got to have that lighting. If my batteries are low, literally or figuratively.
Right.
There's plenty of things I can do to prevent the magic. And so I work really, really, really hard to check all those boxes.
It's kind of like you have your part to play, and your part is to make sure everything's set up right. And then you plug in, and then if you've set up right, then Spirit's like, okay, I'll meet you. But Spirit's there regardless. I wanted to really quickly switch back, if you don't mind, to the open mics, because what I've found is that they are, like you mentioned, judgment-free zones. 99% of the time. You might have your occasional outlier who's not there for the most intentional, have the best intentions.
Yep.
But for the most part, it's a judgment-free zone. And except when I'm judging myself. Anyone else is just listening. You were talking about practice, and not being good until something clicks. My dad was a big proponent of telling me about the 10,000 hours that it takes to be a master. And so if you practice, and it's not like you practice 100 hours and then bam, you're good. It's like little increments. And then you look back and you're like, holy smokes, this is what happened.
Yeah, truly. There are a couple of things. I like that a lot. And to your earlier point, this inner critic is a thing, because I will hear all my mistakes on a regular basis. I will know, oh, that was a little off. Oh, that was a little off. Oh, that was a little off. Constantly. And I'm extremely picky, and I have a pretty good ear for hearing my mistakes. And the good news is that the audience generally doesn't hear it. Generally, every once in a while, if I do a thing, that's fine. But like what I've learned is that my experience is separate from the audience's experience. Right? There have been shows where I'm like, wow, I killed it. Like, that was amazing. And the audience response is like, it was bad.
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, it's cool.
And then I've had shows where I'm like, I can't believe how many mistakes I made. It's like, do I even know how to play this instrument? And yet the audience, standing ovation, like people are crying, and I'm like, and so I really have learned to acknowledge the separation and to be careful. Do not take people's experience down, right? So if somebody's like, oh my God, that was amazing, don't say, wow, I really screwed up. And this, did you not hear all the mistakes that I made?
Well,
like, how dare I take it away?
I would like to say this. I'm not sure how many times I've seen you live. I'm going to say probably more than 10 times. At the various events, different shows. And I've never, ever seen the audience not respond as if that was a powerful experience.
Thank you.
Just let you know.
Thank you.
My experience has always been, wow, I'm in awe of what I just witnessed.
Thank you. Yep.
And every time.
Thank you.
So,
and to your earlier point about the 10,000 hour rule, I love that concept, and I've lived it. Like I've absolutely put in my 10,000 hours, maybe 20.
Yeah.
And what's cool about it is to me it's very empowering. I hear from people many times, they'll say, I could never do that, or they'll say, I'm too old for that. I'm like, actually, no, you could do this. Like, it would just take a long time, but you absolutely could do this. And again, the violin is a high barrier to entry, right? There's other instruments that are easier to ease into. They don't sound as bad at first. The violin sounds really bad at first.
Like the trumpet, for example. I'm just kidding.
The trumpet is, that's another one that's a bit of a high barrier entry and very harsh sounds. But, the piano, for example, very quickly you can sound decent. Like, you're not going to be out of tune with a piano. But then to master a piano takes 10,000 hours,
right,
just like everything else. And so I've never liked the idea of prodigy. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in prodigy, right? It's just, who persevered through the hard stuff, who stuck at it, right? So if anything, my superpower is not necessarily playing the violin. I would say I have a superpower for patience.
Okay.
I'm very patient, right? So if I will just stick it, maybe it's too much. Maybe am I
Where does that
ADHD or
patience
something?
come from? Where does that patience come from?
Good question. And then, I'd love to hear a psychologist or someone's like, can you learn patience? I don't know. I think I've been patient from a very young age, and that enabled me to stick with the violin, and it also enabled me to get into my technology career, right? So we haven't spoken about this, but like my main thing was technology for most of my life, right? So yes, I was playing classical music since I was 10 years old, but I was programming before high school, before anybody was doing that. And then I got a bachelor's degree in computer science. I got a master's degree in computer science. I got a patent in virtual reality. And then I had this like 20-year tech career as director of technology in Lansing, Michigan, and was doing these like really cutting edge tech things. I was a tech leader, successful. And it was patience. A lot of people say there's kind of a correlation between people that are good at music and people that are good at math. And I think what's under that is patience, right? You just stick any kind of math stuff just takes a lot of time to work through. And, it comes back to the 10,000 hour rule. And by the way, the other thing I want to mention about that is I love that you don't have to wait to 10,000 hours to get good.
Right.
At whatever it is, right? So even if it's plumbing or opera or whatever, you by a couple thousand, you're doing all right. That's cool.
If you're not a master, you're a journeyman.
Yeah.
You're on the journey. You're at a different point in your journey. The master status is almost like a destination.
Yeah, and what's weird for me is that okay, I've put in these 10,000 plus hours, and so I feel very confident with my offering, and yet I'm still learning. Right. There's things, and if I get off the beaten path, there's times that I'm like, wow, I'm just beginning, right? It's really neat in that it's kind of endless. Like I don't think there's ever going to be a point where I'm like, oh, I've mastered it. I've learned everything I can learn.
I'm done.
Au contraire.
Right.
No. No.
So, do you mind if I let's talk about that transition from tech to dedicating yourself to the music and the path. Was that something that just kind of boiled up from inside? It was like, how did that experience go?
Yeah, thank you. So I'm doing the tech thing. I had all this classical experience. It was really neat. For a time, I was both like this director of technology, like quote unquote successful, and I was a symphony violinist. So, and actually, it's funny. You're in the gig here coming up is in Bay City. I was playing in the Midland Symphony, so not too far.
Oh, nice.
From there. So I was, kind of a leader in the classical world and a leader in the tech world. But I then had a life change. So I went to a festival that changed my life. I went to an event and realized that I was surrounded by people that were living deeply. I realized that they were like expressing and emoting and flowing, and I wasn't. I was always in my head. That's all I knew. And they were operating from their heart space, right? They were connected with spirit, and I wasn't. I was just all in my head. And I realized I was afraid of opening up. I was afraid of like really being myself, and I was afraid of my emotions. And so when I saw other people that were just really putting it out there, I said to myself, I need to practice this, right? So let's practice it just like we practice anything else. And so I started to pay attention to my feelings more. I started to express more. I started to be more creative, to color outside the lines. And it changed everything. I started to really experiment musically, right? So I had been just doing classical music. And so I started to be like, okay, let's remove the sheet music, because prior to this point, every note was written down, right? I knew exactly what was going to happen on page 4.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, no, let's just feel this. And so I started feeling, right? And it was magical, right? I started to so I'd been playing music for like 25 years, and then I fell in love with music for the first time. I really fell in love with music. I'm like, this is magical. This is like, oh my God. And so now, as I'm doing these gigs with the band, and we get a break and I do this solo thing, I'm going deep. I'm like, okay, Spirit, let's see what we can channel here. Like, how I am a vessel, or I'm a channel. How can I let this flow through me? And so I would just open and try to channel as best as I could. And when I saw the look in people's eyes, like that I could really move them deeply, I'm like, I have to do this, right? So then I had this really awkward thing where I've got this job
right
in the office, and yet my heart is elsewhere. And how do I balance these? And I tried to do both for a while. So for a year or two, I was, Monday to Friday in the office doing the office thing, and then on the weekends I was doing my music, right? And for a while that was good. The good news is I didn't have to worry about money for music, because I was getting the big paycheck from the office.
You're sponsoring yourself.
I was kind of sponsoring myself, yeah. And I didn't have to deal with the music business. But the problem was reach and logistics. The office was holding me back. Right, for a hot minute, it supported me, right? Because I don't suggest that everybody just run off and join the circus, right? The circus life is not for everyone, right? So for a while, my office supported me. I was sponsoring myself, as you say, and so it was very easeful logistically and financially, but I was really limited to how far I could go, how many gigs I could do, and I was like, no, I'm feeling this. I feel like this is my soul's calling. This is my mission. This is like, I want to inspire people. It's in my bio. My life's mission is to inspire people, and it's really because I was inspired. Right, I was inspired through this life-changing experience of people sharing their heart. So now I want to share my heart, and spread it, pay it forward, spread it around. And so I realized that office was now holding me back from doing that in a significant way. Right. And so I had to make the tough choice of like, I'm going to walk away. I'm going to walk away from this good career. The career did not suck. It was great. I was working with good people. My resume looked awesome. I was making good money. But I'm like, no, this is my mission now. So I quit.
In a way, this is what's coming to me as I heard you talk. It's almost as if the mission didn't really shift. It's almost as if the tools you were using in the technology was trying to have the same purpose, which is to enhance people's lives. But now you connected with this internal connection with spirit, and you're like, okay, well, I'm still going to continue on this path of improving people's lives, but now we're using different tools and we're going to affect them in a different way. But that's
and thank you. That's generous. I don't know that back in the corporate world I was so much focused on making people's lives better. I mostly felt satisfaction and pride of doing good work.
Okay.
Right. I very much take pride in like I want to do a good job. Right. I don't want to half-ass something, or no. I want to feel really good, about what I'm doing. And in the office, I had a lot of puzzle solving. Right, and that's very satisfying for me. I love solving puzzles. Like, so there were these big technology challenges and project challenges and corporate challenges and like, how do we build a system that's going to do this with these limited resources? And oh my gosh, my brain loves that. Like, oh, it's so good, right? So that's mostly where I was getting satisfaction. And to your point, there's absolutely carryover into what I'm doing now, right? So, and not just the technology, right? So that's part of it, right? So I know tech, right? Which means I can pretty quickly learn new tech, right? It's not like I know everything. It's like, no, I know enough that if there's a new thing, I'll figure it out eventually, you know. And so the system I'm using, the music environment that I'm using, is my own system, right? So I literally wrote thousands of lines of code myself.
Oh wow! Okay.
For my system to let me have the musical expression that I want, to give me the palette of colors that I want to paint with, and so it's behind the scenes. There's a whole lot of tech. I'm a geek still.
Okay.
Maybe I'm a recovering geek. I don't know.
Right.
But I there's a lot of gear, but I try to hide it. I try to make it so that what you see and what you hear is just a sublime experience, so that you don't have to think about, how's he doing that? What's the technology behind it? Right? So that's part of the carryover is tech. I'm still in tech. I still am fussing with the bits and the bytes and the cables and the voltages and the whatevers. But then what's now weird for me is I realized, so I jumped in. So I took the leap. I quit the corporate world cold turkey. And I was just like, here we go. And I had no idea what I was doing to do music for a living. And I was like, well, I'll figure it out because my heart's into it. Here we go. And wow, talk about a learning experience, because doing it for a living is completely different. It's so weird. It's now... it's unfortunately it's so much business. It's sales, it's marketing, it's promotion. I'm mostly producing my own shows. I'm doing over 100 shows a year, and probably 85, 90 of them I'm producing myself, right? So I have a small team helping me, but I'm doing ads, and I'm working spreadsheets, and I'm dealing with contracts, and
you're in the nitty gritty of it.
I'm absolutely in the nitty gritty of it. Like people think I'm at home practicing the violin. It's like, no, I'm on a spreadsheet. I'm doing the business. It's a weird thing, but it leads to the performances, which that's where my heart is. And so I'm like, if I got to do this work behind the scenes to really be where my heart is happy, okay, I will do it.
So, what was it like when you got into the music and you realized you're touching people and inspiring people? Like, as the name or the brand that you worked so hard to put out there started taking root, at some point you started connecting with people that were coming to multiple shows, and they're downloading the CDs. And so at that point you realize my message is getting out there. Even if the message is inspiration, your music is getting out there. The energy is getting out there.
It's amazing. It's what a gift, right? So it did take me by surprise, the reach beyond the physical audience, right? So I figured that if I put my heart out there in a performance, that people would quote unquote like it, right?
Yeah.
I kind of assumed, like, if I really do my best, then people will like it. Okay, yes, true. And what I didn't expect is the reach beyond just the show and the people that were at the show. So, like you say, people will come back and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, we heard you last year at the other place," or we've heard you a couple times, or we've heard you 8 times. We've heard you 12 times this year. Like, what? Like, how? That's like a tour. Like, how are you? and it tickles my heart. It's so like, what a gift
Right.
that people have been so moved that they take the time out of their lives to like go to, right. And especially these days, right now, our competition is streaming,
Yeah.
right? The competition, it's harder for me and many others to do this in the world and have people show up, because it's so easy for people to be at home on their screen and have access to unlimited content at their
Right.
fingertips, right? So to get your, and I do this too. Like, do I really want to get my butt off the couch and drive somewhere to a thing? There's some resistance there. And the good news is that people are doing this, and as you say, coming back. Excuse me, they're coming back. So, oh my gosh, like
Right.
like what a gift, and some positive feedback for me. I get to pat myself on back that they felt so inspired, so moved that they come back. And then another delight I have is that I didn't expect the social aspect that I'm, because I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna, if I really do a good job with my music, then on an individual basis, people's hearts will be lifted, or they'll be inspired, or they'll have this magical experience. Maybe they'll look at life in a new way. That's kind of what my focus
Right.
is. And what I didn't expect is that there's a connection that happens between people, right? So now one of my favorite things is, before the show starts, as people are walking in and they're settling in, they're finding their seats, but they'll be chit-chatting with each other,
Yeah.
right? So there's this interconnection that's happening between people, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is
Very
so
good.
good, right? Because again, most people are like on their phone,
Right.
staring at a little screen and not interacting with humans. And now we have this opportunity to bring the humans into the same room,
That's
right?
what's up. Yeah.
And they have something in common. They do, well, I believe we all have something in common, but like very specifically in this case, y'all were drawn to this for some reason,
Right.
right? Because I'm weird. I'm a anomaly. What I do is off the beaten path for sure. And so that y'all came to this, you've got something in common. How cool! So yeah,
That is
talk to
cool.
each other. This is great. And then if I had a nickel for every time somebody like saw my T-shirt at a they were wearing my T-shirt at a grocery store, and then a conversation started with a stranger, right?
Nice.
So they were just buying groceries, and so hey, what's that? What's that? Human kindness, Dixon's violin. What? And they end up talking. I'm like, this is so good. Like we're
So-
bringing humans together.
Yeah. Speaking of that, and I know Tammy's chopping at
Yes.
the bit to ask a question here. I
Yes.
feel like we've been dominating it. So Tammy, what's going on?
All right, so I have so many notes I'm taking here and so many thoughts that are coming to me. Right? First of all, I want to say thank you for being here, Dixon. I have not personally seen you. I bought tickets to the show in Clare a few weeks ago, and something happened that night, and I was not able to be there. So, but I know people who have seen you, and they have raved about you. When probably a year ago, I started hearing your name from people in this community, Quest Unity community here. And so I started to pay attention. I thought, who is this Dixon guy? And so I went onto YouTube and saw some of your videos. And I felt something. It was very deep. It was very spiritual and emotional. And I thought, this guy, I gotta like see this guy in person. So thank you for being here. what you just said about people coming back and returning to your shows, the first thing that showed up was, you know how people do things for themselves, like they will go and have a massage maybe once a month because it brings them something, calm, peace, alignment. I think you're like that, right? So when people are in your space and they're listening to this magic that you create, there's emotion, and of course tears. I mean, that's emotion coming out. So I can't wait to experience you on June 6th here. I love your story. I've had a very similar story in terms of working at a corporation for nearly 20 years. And that was, I was being of service in a creative way. I was in the marketing department. But then there was, after about 17 years, there was something calling, something deeper calling. And it was almost like I had to live a certain number of years before I could distinguish the difference between those two. And I knew that I needed to follow that calling, so I left that job and started a little small business, Stand for Something, which moved me then to here at Unity, which I'm doing marketing and branding and design and stuff like that here. And I know that I glow when I'm doing it. So it's really magical when you can step into something that you know feels like joy, and then you get a reaction from people who let you know that, yes, I must be doing something right, because the reaction I'm getting from people is letting me know that. And I hear that a lot with what you're talking about. You have reached a sweet spot, right? Like you're navigating and learning and growing, and you know you're doing something right because of the reaction you're getting from people who see you. That's a beautiful place to be, I think. Yes.
Very good.
Thank you, Tammy. I love that. And I love the idea that, like, I so feel that when I feel like I'm glowing, when I'm doing the right thing, that's magical, in itself. That I can feel that glow just within myself to say, yeah, this is my happy place. But then also, as you say, the feedback loop with the audience. What a blessing to get that, right? So when I was in the corporate world and I did a good job, I might get somebody saying good job, right? Or at the end of the year, maybe I'll get a bonus, Christmas bonus, right? But that's way different than when I get done with a show and immediately afterwards there's a line of people that want to like give me a hug or take a selfie or buy a t-shirt or and then my favorite is when people have got a little tear in their eye, and they have trouble putting into words what they're feeling. I'm like, that's my favorite.
Yeah.
If you can't put it into words, perfect.
Yes.
That's perfect. So yeah, it makes me feel like the luckiest guy in the world, and that's why I work so hard at this. Right, the behind the scenes is so much work. And in fact, I've really had to be careful about my mental health and my capacity, right? So, for example, the beginning of this year started out insane. Like I just a record number of shows, and I realized it was too much, right? And so I'm like, okay, we need to pump the brakes here. I'm burning out. This is not like I love the performance and the audience connection. Love it. But I did the math. Every hour on stage, there's about 40 hours of work off stage that has to happen. Wow. And so when you multiply that, it's like I can't. So I'm like, okay, uh, be a little bit sane about this in an insane environment. And so, I was thinking, maybe, I've been doing like 100, 110, 120 shows a year. Maybe I could do 150. And now I know, no, I actually can't do 150 shows a year without really burning out. And it's tempting because, as you say, this glow and this, people with tears in their eyes, and like, this is really special. And it's such a gift to be in this. I want more, more, more. But then I want it to be sustainable, right? I want this to be in a way that I can just keep doing it. Like, and I have no goal of like becoming famous or like hitting the big time. That's whatever. Like, no, I'm just like one foot in front of the other, and let's keep doing this and, steer the ship. I don't know where I'm going to be in 5 years. I don't know, whatever. But right now, it's like, yeah, I'm supposed to be on this ship and like, trim the sails, and just keep moving forward with it, because it does feel magical, and to do it in a way that's sustainable so that I don't burn out and that I can, pay the bills and all that. And then I just am the luckiest guy in the world. So thank you.
I got a quick question based on what you just said.
Yeah.
Do you feel that the less shows you do, the more you feel each show, or do you feel like it doesn't matter how many you do, it just feels the same? Because what occurred to me is like when I found myself doing too much, the quality, even if it's just a microscopic, or a small amount, the quality of what I do kind of diminishes. And then if I tone it back a little bit, then the quality comes back up again.
Yeah, I think there's a loose correlation there, right? So if I'm doing too much, then there's a better chance that I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
And really not, it's harder to be present when I'm distracted by lack of sleep, right? Or stress. Like that's distracting. But it's not a strong correlation, because I've been in the middle of these crazy tours and still magic happened. I'm like, wow,
Right.
where did that come from? I mean, I'm really tired now, but like, wow, that was cool. So there's a loose correlation, yes, but not a strong correlation. What I would say though is over time, one of the things I practice is there's a Japanese word called kaizen or kaizan, and it means constant little improvements, right? So, I'm doing over 100 shows a year, and every one I'm learning something. Every one I'm like, oh, we could tweak that. This could be a little bit better if we just adjust this. And it could be something silly behind the scenes, like actually I just did a tour in Florida where I flew down, and I'm like, if I put this stuff in that luggage and this stuff in that luggage, then that part of the luggage goes to the front of the building, that part of the luggage goes onto the stage. That's way better. Then I don't have to like move things. Oh, great, that'll help me next time. To things with the show is like lighting. Lighting is huge. Like, you can totally change the emotional impact by just having. So one of the things, for example, I bought is a legit spotlight, and oh my gosh, like, makes a world of difference, right? It's suddenly, because some venues, we'll be at the State Theater, they got good lights, but I'm often in places that they don't have any lights, right? So just a little spot, that's all you need. I don't need a lot. So these little things, like here and there and here and there. And so what happens then is, again, it's removing these obstacles, so that there's a better chance, you never guarantee, but a better chance for that magic and for people to be really deeply inspired and amazed. Like, I'm dissatisfied with average as a emotional experience, and I sweat the details. I work so hard to, like, I want this to be exquisite. I want it to be awe-inspiring. I want people to be blown away. Yeah,
they are.
Thank you.
Very good. Tell me about the title of your tour, Humankindness.
Oh yes, I don't know if you can see my
Okay,
Humankindness.
Love it.
Yeah. So it's funny. It literally came to me in kind of a dream or a half. I was half awake, half asleep one night. So in the past, when I started to experiment with my sound, I was in the world of bands, right? So
Right.
these rock bands, blues bands, jazz bands, whatever, and they in that world, there's generally a tour. They have a name for the tour. Oh, it's the so and so tour. This is the so and so tour. And I was like, well, I guess I'm supposed to have a name for my tour. And at first, I tried to have a different name or different tour every year because that's what everybody else did. They have
Right.
this is the 2026 2027 tour, blah 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 tour.
More merch, more merch, more merch.
More merch, right? And I was like, what do I? So I experimented with some other names in the past, and then it came to me, and it's the words humankind and kindness
Yes.
smushed together, right? So humankind and kindness, and this came to me. I'm like, that's my tour. That's my tour, right? And it's stuck, and I so far refuse to change it. It's been the Human Kindness Tour ongoing for, I don't know, 6, 7 years, 8 years. I forget how
Well,
long
that's
it's
awesome because it's perfect.
I can't think of a better one. And why
Right.
change it? And so, maybe to my own detriment. I suppose I'd sell more T-shirts if I had a different logo.
Right.
but
Maybe do a
you know,
different color each year.
maybe. But I'm trying very much to inspire people. I'm trying very much to, and one of my other mantras is put myself in the shoes of the audience. What is the experience for them? Because this isn't for me.
Right.
I mean, it is for me. I love doing this. But no, really, what's this for everyone else? What are they hearing? What are they seeing? What are they feeling? What are they taking away from this? And so, yes, I want there to be awe. I want there to be something where, like, how is this possible? Right? That I want that, right? Because that is inspiration for transformation, right? I'm hoping part of my diabolical plan here is for people to step into their power, right? Because that's what happened to me.
Right.
I was kind of living in a box in my world, and then through other people and through other people, like I saw friends that quit their jobs and just took off and joined the
Right.
circus, and they had nothing waiting for them, right? And they just did it, and I'm like, you can do that,
Live
right?
without a net.
Yeah, right. And that, which reminds me of one of my favorite phrases, is leap and the net will appear.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Don't wait for the net, take the leap, the net will appear. And then I saw things that I thought were impossible, right? So the Burning Man Festival was a big part of my inspiration, and I would see artwork there. I would see these sculptures and these art installations in the middle of the desert, and I'm like, that's impossible. How on earth could you bring that amazing piece of artwork to the middle of the desert, right? And some of them, they at the end of the week, they light it on fire.
Yeah. Non-attachment.
Mind blown. Yeah, exactly. Non-attachment. So, I received these pieces of inspiration, and I'm like, I want to pay this forward, right? So I'm now, yes, I want this to be an awe-inspiring experience, and part of what's underneath this, the diabolical plan of mine, is self-empowerment, right? I want people to have a sacred, powerful, inspirational experience and tap into their emotions. Maybe they haven't quite yet. I want them to see the impossible, and then not. And I often will speak this from the stage. I'll say, it's not about me doing the impossible, it's about you doing the impossible, right? So step into your power. People, I think, too often limit themselves. I did, right? So I want people to go, wow, like, maybe I could give it a shot.
You do a great job of creating the container. You do a really good job of creating the bubble that people are there, just with your words and with your story,
Thank you.
It's
Yeah.
awesome.
And I learned a lot of that from others, right? So I learned it from various yoga. I start every show with 3 deep breaths. Where did I get that? Yoga. We're going to take 3 deep breaths here. We just did it. We took a deep breath at the beginning of this interview. I got inspired. There's a buddy of mine who was a pretty well-known blues guitarist, and we were chatting one day, and he said, I play a trick on people, because what I tell people is, you're coming to a blues show, but really what we're doing is we're going to church.
Yeah.
He said, but I don't tell people that. I trick them. And so what we do is you get to the show, and he starts playing the blues, but then in the middle of the show, he's like, we're going to church, right? So he's going to either speak something inspirational or play something inspirational, and get a spiritual experience with people. And I'm like, oh, that's good. I'm using that.
I love it.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm gonna step away, and I'll have to take a break. But if you guys keep talking amongst yourselves,
What?
Potty break.
Oh man, I get you all to
Yep.
myself.
I'm all yours, Tammy.
Oh my gosh,
I'm all yours.
the hair on my head is standing up right now.
I love it. I love it.
Oh,
Wait, okay, so I want to know what are you doing? What's your role here? What how do you fit into the equation? Like, okay, I'm Dixon, I'm playing music, and Tammy, tell me about you.
oh, okay. So I'm an artist. I'm a visual artist. One of the artist blocks that I have, and I think you will get this, is that at a very young age, I knew that there was so much more going on here than what I was being taught by my teachers and parents, and that there was this powerful, awesome thing, like this energy around us that I could feel. And as I grew up and I went to school and became an artist, I reached a point where I did not know how to take what I was feeling and transfer it onto a canvas so people could feel it in a way that I could feel it. And so I feel like you have achieved that, and you explained how you see people sometimes coming out of your shows with a tear in their eye, so you know that they're feeling something very deep. I am right now, currently in my life, I'm here at Quest Unity. I've got my hands to just about everything, but I love to design material and kind of bridge the gap from what's going on here in this community. There's a lot of cool things happening in this community, and bridging the gap so that the bigger community knows that we have this beautiful gardens here with a medicine wheel, and it's open to the public. People can come and meditate. So I'm a messenger, just getting people here to know that this is there for them. And I'm just having fun. I'm finding joy in life. Yeah.
Yes, to joy. I love that, and thank you for what you're doing. I love that you're being a messenger and letting people know about it feels to me like a sanctuary that y'all have there. I'm very excited to visit and be part of it. And what's funny for me is the irony, or the universe laughing at me now, because when I was in the tech world, I was like, I don't want to be the messenger. I'm a brain person, and what I do is I build things and I solve problems, and the whole marketing part, that's beneath me, and I don't want to do it. And there's a sales department and a marketing department, and yes, they do that. That's what I thought. And now the universe is laughing at me, because that's mostly what I do now, right? But I have to do this. It's so important. It's so powerful, because if you can have the most amazing experience, But if nobody's there to receive it, what have you done? Right? So
If a tree falls in the woods.
Right. So thank you, Tammy. That's a very, very, very important role that you've got there, and I feel you. I feel you.
Yes. Thank you. We're all doing our work, right?
Yeah.
We're all finding our way of being of service.
Yeah. Yeah, truly. I love that. It's very satisfying to me to be of service. Yeah, for like we really are, I believe, all y'all, all of us here are in tangible ways making the world a better place a little at a time, right? So I've got my little sphere of influence, and you've got yours, and you've got yours, and everybody has their little sphere of influence, right? So I'm not going to change the global economy. Sorry, I don't have access to that right now. But you know what? I do have access to an audience, right? Cool. So how can I be of service to that audience? And then if I do my diabolical plan well, what I'll do is I'll inspire them to pay it forward and be like, okay, hey audience, don't just let this be a one-off and have it just be like, oh, that was cool and we're done. Take this with you. Take that feeling you've got in your heart right now, share it with others, right? That feeling of self-empowerment that you have now, serve others, right? Take this forward.
I'd like to say something on that, because I personally know that that's not just on stage. That's how you live. That drive. I want to share a little personal story real quick. It's about when you and I first met. It was back in probably 2009, 2010.
Wow.
And we met at backyard barbecue where he installed his like life-size chess set. You remember this? And I needed a ride home. And you offered me a ride home. And you were telling me you're getting ready to go to Burning Man and you have all these changes going on in your life. And I think that was when you might have been one of the first people that I've expressed. I was like, I feel like Spirit's kind of calling me towards doing this thing. And it was the 11-11-11 gathering in Sedona. And you were like, dude, if you're feeling it, do it. Just follow that. And then you shared your story about corporate world and your drive towards music and how you're making these changes. And I was like, man, and you inspired me. And that conversation, this is just how it echoes, like you were saying. That conversation helped inspire me to do the event, which had its own series of challenges. It was a very interesting experience, very powerful experience. But the following year, 3DL was born. And over the course of the time that 3DL was running, you played a number of those shows. And the experience that conversation in your van, taking me home, touched, moved, and inspired, I would say, just through the work that we've done together, thousands of people. You know what I mean? And so thank you on behalf of everybody that's ever been touched by anything I've ever done since our conversation. Big part of that can be attributed to just who you are as a human being. So
it's like a ripple, like a stone in a pond, right? The ripples, and they touch people. You don't know in what ways, but that's what we do for each other.
Yep, I love it. And to this day, I still get comments about the 3 Days of Light festival. To this day, every once in a while, especially when I'm down south. Yeah. Oh yeah, I heard you at this festival. What was it called? 3DL something? Like, oh yeah. What?
Yeah. That's cool. Very good.
Some say music connects us. Others say it heals us. On June 6th in Bay City, Michigan, experience the violinist they're calling the one changing the world. Sponsored proudly by Quest Unity, Dixon's Violin, the Humankindness Tour. Neighbors become connected, memories are made, and music says what words can't. Join us for a one-time performance you won't want to miss. Dixon's Violin, the Humankindness Tour. Get your tickets now at questunity.com.
Very good, very good. So let's share some closing thoughts with people as we move forward. This event again. You want to give us the dates of the Bay City Dixon's Violin Show, Tammy?
Sure. The date is Saturday, June 6th, and it's happening at the State Theater in downtown Bay City. It's a historic theater. You can't miss it.
All right.
It's beautiful.
Beautiful place. How do people get tickets?
Yeah.
People can get tickets many, many ways. Really, you can Google this show, Dixon's Violin in Bay City, June 6th. You can Google it, and something will come up that will have a link to buying the tickets. Or you can go to the questunity.com. That's the Quest Unity website, in case you didn't know. But right on the home screen, you can see a button, and you can click it and purchase tickets right there.
Very good.
Awesome.
All right, Dixon, do you have any parting words for our listeners?
I just want to express gratitude. I'm really, I'm very glad for the work that you both are doing and creating an intentional community there and sharing inspiration with folks. And it's just an honor to be part of it. So thank you for what you're doing. And for everybody that's been watching this video, I really appreciate you and hope you've heard some inspiration and come to the show. Thank you so much.
Very good. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. If you get a chance, please like and subscribe this video or this podcast. It really goes a long way to help us expand the reach of this community. And as Tammy mentioned, you can find this episode and other episodes at questunity.com, or you can check out Now What on YouTube or any other place you get your podcasts. Thank you very much. Have a blessed day, and until next time, live well. All right, I'm going to stop now. Oh, shoot. I should have been recording this, huh?
Oh.